Hey, very good morning and good evening, everyone. Welcome back. A quick recap on our previous session. So we discussed to start our training with Linux for whatever the reasons we discussed. And to practice the Linux, we wanted to use AWS servers to create a server and use that particular server. So that's where I asked every one of you to create a AWS account. And I hope every one of you have created your own account. And after that, okay, so we have talked about how do we launch a server. And to launch a server, I'm offering one image. So in North Virginia region, so we'll be using North Virginia region across throughout the training. Okay, so we'll be using this particular one and launch an instance. And launching an instance is quite simple. Just choose that image and just launch an instance. And also just proceed without a key pair. You don't need it. And you will get an instance. And we know that how do you connect to that particular instance, right? Until here, we had discussed in previous session, and yesterday we connected to that particular server and we talked about certain commands, which is starts with the ls command. Okay. Um, yeah, so we started with the ls command. Ls command is about listing certain files and directories in the directory. So let's list down uh, the commands that what we are learning. So ls command and to show the list of files. And after that, the pwd command, so which you may not really need to execute all the time. So to know where you are, because our uh, prompt actually going to show us these particular details. Okay, so I customize that particular prompt. So prompt customization, you can type in internet so prompt customization. There are even some websites that will help you. Prompt customization Linux bash, maybe something like that if you type. So you will get some websites to do that also. So there are some native websites that can help you in doing the prompting. Just assume not even this. So I think, yeah, you fairly got it. So there are certain websites also exclusively help you in uh, bash prompt generator, something like that is there. So there are certain generator websites are there like this, okay, which will help you. What do you want? How do you want to have your prompt look? You can put it. Okay, so it's a customizable one. I slightly customize to have colors for grabbing the attention. And then also the pwd command to avoid all the time. So I'll tell where you are by the way. Okay, so the pwd command. And after that cd command to switch from uh, one directory to another directory. So we'll be using cd command. Then after that touch command to create the files and empty files, and mkdir to create an empty directories, and rm command to remove the files and directories, cp command to copy the files and directories, and mv command to move the files and directories. Okay. Until here, we have discussed in our last session, and we will now move on to the next topic. Yeah. So we'll start from content. Any questions on this before starting until here?
Yeah, hi, Raghu. Good morning. Um, I tried to connect to the instance, but I was getting permission denied error. I don't know if others face that issue or not. Um,
Okay. After this session, we'll see. We'll connect in the lab session. I'll see your
yeah,
screen, what is going on.
okay, thanks.
Any other? Okay, cool. Just give me 1 minute. Uh, I'll just grab some water. But Hey, I'm back.
Raghu, as I was new, can you kindly let me know where I can find the document?
Yeah, keeping in the chat.
Sure. Thanks.
So there you have a Google document. So wait.
Thank you.
All right. So I'm connecting to that server. There is the server. SSH EC2-user and the rate. So it always asks for yes or no. You just give yes and ask for the password. Password is DevOps, capital D, capital O 321. You will be able to log into the server. Cool. Now, yesterday we had talked about how do we create a file, but it's an empty file, right? So it doesn't have any content, something. So, but now let's say if I have a content in the file, so how do I view the content of that particular file? Okay. So how do I do that? So that is where the next, um, next things will come into picture. So I think I can enhance this screen a little bit, just maybe a little out of topic, by the way, but I wanted to try this. So you have Chrome extensions, because now there is a feature of splitting on the right? So you have a split view. I think I can, here you can get the SSH terminal also. So directly on the browser, you want to have the, uh, yeah, I can try this. I don't know how it works. Wonderful. Not worked. Oh, this is 2.8 rating. Okay, so it is asking me the IP address. This is the IP address, username EC2-user, password DevOps 321. Remember my password. Correct. It is just only for, you can use anything. It's only like I can just go to the split view. Okay. Okay. Well, this little bit. Cool. At least I'll be able to, so no need to flip the screen here and there. So it will be easy. All right. So let's start with the first command, which is cat command. In order to see certain content in the file, so you're going to have the cat command. Okay, so cat and the file name. Let's say I'll take some system file for demonstration purpose. This is a very common file which will have the list of servers. I will use this. So cat/etc password. So you're seeing the list of something. Okay, but you're seeing some content. Doesn't matter what content it is, right? You're seeing some content. And to see the content of that particular file, of any file, by the way, it is going to be a cat command. Now, just imagine if the file is having thousands of lines and, so thousands and thousands of lines. Now your screen will be bombarded with too much output, right? So that is where you will be uh, going and looking for some filters rather than just printing the full thing, you need some filters. And also cat command has one more option, certain useful option, which is -n, by the way, which it is going to be printing you the line numbers also. You can see this, the line number also it is printing. Okay. Yeah. Whereas in the next one, so I don't want all the content to be printed. So let's say I want to print the top of the file, so head, and okay, so this is the head of the file, and I wanted to print a head of /etc password, you will get top 10 lines. And whereas if I go for head of -n, like let's say 5, you will get the top 5 lines. But the head means it is actually the top lines, whereas the tail means last line. So tail of /etc password will print you last 10 lines, whereas the tail -n is going to give you the last how many lines you are looking for. Let's say if I give tail -n2, so you will get last 2 lines. So head and tail commands is going to help you in filtering based on the line numbers. But based on the line numbers, criteria is also most of the time it's a bit difficult. And that is wherein we'll be going for searching certain word and get only those lines. Why I cat the file? Maybe I am searching something, correct? And that's where a grep command will come into picture. Grep search for a word and give that particular file. So then it print all the lines which is having that word. Okay, so that's how you're having it. Sometimes you're going to have, so case sensitive way also. Then grep -i, enable case insensitivity, grep -i. I think still you're getting the same lines only, which is fine. We don't have any other. For an example, if I search for, let's say SSH, anyhow, this line will come. Any other? I think local, for example. So grep for local, you are not getting anything. So whereas grep -i local, you can see that one line is coming because it is a capital L. Unless until you enable -i option, it will not work. Okay, cool. That's about how do you search certain thing in a file. Next, before going there, any questions? So cat command to print all the content. Head is the top lines. How many number of lines you can give that? But from the top, it will give you those lines. Tail will give you from the end of the lines. And head will help you, and grep will help you in searching a word and printing those particular lines. Right? Clear? Any questions? Okay. All right. So the next is moving on to the another command. Okay. At times you get something which is a filtering based on columns. Okay. So when I have something on the column level, so then how do you filter it? So the same file itself is a column based file. Okay, you look at the first column, and after that you have a colon symbol and some character, again colon symbol, again some number, colon. Okay, like this. So this is a colon separated file. There are certain times like comma separated files will be there. So some separator will be there. So you need to visualize the content like an Excel sheet. If I take this data and I can put it in an Excel sheet actually. So it's a proper column based data. If I take to the Excel, so if I keep this, is all coming into one column. But whereas I'll go and say that data, so can you please split my data into columns next? And I can choose like, so the other one, it is actually a colon symbol. The moment I do this, is everything coming into different columns. It's a column based data, at least. Now, whenever you have a requirement of, okay, filtering the content in a column based, then AWK command is the one which will help you. AWK command, you have to tell what is the field separator, which is a colon symbol. If it is a comma, it is going to be comma. So then in single quotes, flower brackets, you have to print what I want to print. Print first column, let's say, then $1. And what is the file name? etc password. So you get the first column of the file. Okay. Now let's say if I'm looking for first column, comma, first column, comma, third column, let's say. Okay. So you can give comma, $3. So then you're going to get this is the first column and then the second column. Okay. So, but the command line may not be giving you a great visualization like here, but it is the data is as simple as like this. And you want a column-based filtering, then AWK command is the one that will help you. Okay. All right. Any questions?
If we want to do word-based check, then also we can do it over here using awk, like for a particular word or any character, something like that.
So that's you have to do a combination. You can do that with AWK, but AWK make you complex. Word-based, you go with the grep command. Column-based, you go for AWK command.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Right. So the next is how do you edit your files? That means like so far we have seen how to access the content. You didn't modify anything, but now it is telling you, or we need to like, let's say, create a file with content or else edit the file, which is already having some content, and how do you modify that particular one? Okay. So that's where the editor will come into picture, which is VI editor. Okay. So VI and VI or VIM, anything is fine. So VIM is bit enhanced version of VI, which has VI is core. Core is VI. The options, whatever we are going to see, just the VI options only. Nothing much of VIM. But however, VIM brings you certain enhancements like colors and all. Okay. But unlike Windows, Linux also has a lot of editor support. So native editor support, especially in Windows, you have a Notepad, WordPad. I think if that is not enough, people will go for Notepad plus plus. Okay, so people like me, I will use something like this, Visual Studio Code, something like this. Because the purpose is all same, by the way. So it's for a Notepad purpose. Okay, and in that particular case uh, or not in that particular case, the same like here. Okay, now Linux also have some editors which is native, and there are many native editors in Linux. So you have a VI editor, you have Nano editor. Okay, so you have some editors. I don't really remember the names, but yeah, you have some editors. VI is quite famous in that area. Okay, no doubt in that. VI is one of the great editor available, by the way. Now, uh, using the VI editor, okay, is a core of the editor, but that VI editor maybe misses some colors and all. So that's where we might go with VIM. I mean, when you open a file, so showing the colors and all, it grabs the user attention that VI lacks. There's a top wrapper command they have given, which is VIM, but VI is a core only for doing the editing and all. So it is the same thing. Just that VIM just brings some enhancements, nothing more than that. Okay. If at least if it understands the file and all, so then it brings the colors. That's the major thing. Now, how do you do that is VIM, and you can, for an example, I can go for, let's say, I'll copy a file, cp/etc password to password file here. I copied the file for demonstration purpose. Now, VIM password, if I open, it will open this particular file, all the content. Now, same like in Notepad, in Windows, you have a file, you double click the file, it will show you the existing content. Then what do? You take your mouse, you click there somewhere, right? You click somewhere. Okay. So now here also my cursor, I don't know how much you're able to see my cursor, but this cursor is actually, I'll take wherever I wanted to insert. Okay. I mean, since it is a graphical, okay, you move the mouse here and there, something like that, and you click somewhere, right? So since this is a command line, use keyboard, up arrow, down arrow, whatever it is, you go to the place where you want to add the content. Okay. Then press I to, okay, insert in the keyboard. Okay. So press I or insert button will be there, or I will be there. You press any of the one, so you are, that means you are clicking there. Okay. So I press I clicked there. Okay. So then I can do whatever I want. So then enter. So hello world, something like that I can add. Okay. So I had done that. Now after that, what you need to do, you press escape. Okay. I pressed escape, and you give :WQ, which is nothing but save and quit. So maybe in if you're graphical Windows, by the way, so you want to save this file, you can go to the file, click on save. Okay, that option you are doing, right? So here also doing the same thing. So escape means you're in the way that you are going here. Okay, like this. And inside this, you have some shortcuts. So one is WQ to save the file and quit and enter. So the file has been saved. Whether the file has been saved or not, how can I see? So cat command can help me. So to see the full content, so where the changes I wanted to add it, I did that. So very simple. So VIM, open the file name. Okay. And wherever you want to go, you take the mouse. Okay. And once you reach there, press I. So that means you will be able to start typing it. But if you don't press I, okay, so you will not be able to do the modifications. Okay. So once you press I or insert button, so even the editor down will show you that you're in insert mode. Okay. So here, if you see, so here it is showing that you are in a insert mode. So once you are in insert mode, you can do whatever the modifications you want. So do that. And after that, you press escape, And after pressing escape, if you press WQ, you are saving and quitting. Or else if you are giving Q exclamatory, you are quitting without saving. These two options you have to remember. :WQ, write and quit, that means save and quit. So rather than save, Linux, they're calling it as a write to disk, write the changes to the disk, they're telling. Save also means save the things on the disk, hard disk. So here, write and quit, or you don't want to write, so then quit exclamatory. So you are quitting without saving. You have to type Q exclamatory. Okay. So for an example, if I go and give Q exclamatory, so here hello world, there was a spelling mistake. I have done that. Now Q exclamatory I'm giving. Now cat password that was not saved because I did not give WQ, right? So that is the difference. So on the editor option, on the editor, I want to give you these options just for introduction purpose. And while we talk about VA editor, so there are a hell lot of options on the VA editor. We'll not go with all the options. Why? Because okay, just imagine if I need to really do the perform the activity with VA editor, I have to log into the server. I have to open the file manually. I have to, okay, I have to, so give the instructions manually. I have to take the cursor somewhere. I have to go there. This is all manual effort. But today's world, okay, in a mature company, first of all, they'll not allow you to log into the server. First thing, okay. Even though you allow, they'll not allow you to do the modifications. Second thing, okay. And any changes today's world, it is going through automation. So it is our fundamental rule area. So we're doing all this manual and all is of essentially of no use. So that is where what we do is we will learn another editor immediately, a command line editor, which is more a non-interactive editor, but does the same job, does the same job, and and allows you to, do it with automation. VA editor will not help you with automation. Okay. So whereas the SCD editor, the next editor, which we are going to talk about, we are going to use, you can use SCD with automation. It's a non-interactive editor. Okay. So the VA editor, this is what I wanted to talk about. So I intentionally trimming all the things which is there in the VA editor. Okay. So telling that you will never, today's world, you will never log into your production system and do the things manually modification. Okay. So, but sometimes pretty rare that you may do that. Okay. It's fine. But however, you need to, so be an expert of the VI editor. At least you know how to modify, which is okay. Here and there, you will be able to make it. Clear? Any questions on this? Okay. I don't see any hands. Moving on. Now, editing the files non-interactive with the SCD command. So how do you do that? So when we look at so what are the things that I need to do with the modifications? So first you imagine, I think every one of you can comment also here. So what is the things that you get it on the editor, by the way? If I look at the editor, what are the things I need to do? In an editor, what do you do, by the way? You add some words in some place, correct? You add some words in some place. That's what you do. So just now, like probably I added hello world. So that means I added a new line I added, or maybe sometimes I delete a line which is not needed, right? And maybe some search and replace you will do. Search and replace you do. And apart from that, do you think anything else you need to do? I mean, I need to add some words in some place, which is also actually an activity of search and replace. And you add the new lines, delete new lines. Apart from that, does any one of you think that do you have any other requirement in the editor? Just imagine you come from your notepad perspective only. You've been doing the notepad, right? You tell me what are the actions that you do it on a notepad. Anyone think anything else? Copy paste. Perfect. So copy paste is also nothing but adding a new lines only. Paste means you're adding new lines. So which that also is being covered there. So delete words also is nothing but a search and replace only. You search for a word and you delete with an empty string. See in my notepad, how do I do a search and replace? Okay. For example, what do? I search for this and I search for, let's say, new, or search for something called as line. So there are two places. I want to delete a word means just simply give empty and I give a replace. That is gone. That is also a search and replace job only. Now we're talking about not the coding editor. We're talking about the simple uh, text editor like a notepad or something. Syntax highlighting and all is not the point here. So you need to modify a file. So it's a text file or it's a code file, doesn't matter. But come to the requirements. Add a new line in a particular place. Still add new line is covering that. So the criteria is there. That's okay. But add a new line is still solving the same thing. Okay. So just think about it. It's okay. If you get anything, just let me know. But let's move on. But you got the point, right? So what we are actually trying to do is mostly these are the operations that you do. Okay. Add a new words also is going to be the search and replace job only if you actually look in. So that means you deal with the lines or deal with the words is what is the two things that you have. Okay. So usually the search and replace, okay, is going to be the command is SCD and then S for substitute. So same like your, here this box, by the way. So you require one box, you require one box. So this is not a box kind of an thing. This is a command line. So that's where they come with a some delimiter. You can use /. Okay. So here what we are doing is SCD and single quotes. Search for old word is root, and I wanted to replace that with admin, and then slash, and the file name is password. So now wherever you see root, okay, so grep grep root from password file. Sorry, grep root from password file. Okay, you can see this root is actually here. Root is actually here, here, here. Four places it needs to modify. So then what it has done, it has modified here, but it failed to modify these two places. And whereas here it has modified root to admin. Then what really happened here? What really happened is the SCD editor behaves in such a way that even your V editor also behaves the same manner. So how they are behaving is if a word is searched and it assumes that it operation has been completed, and then it will move on to the next line immediately. Whereas we have the other possible entries also are there. Whenever you have any possible entries, okay, so then what you need to do, you need to go for okay, a global option G. Okay, so G enter. So then what is happening? So here it is modified, here it is modified, here it is modified. Now let's see the advantage of the command line editors where you lag it in the graphical editor. So for an example, if I wanted to modify only the first possibility, I give 1. Okay, so the first possibility has been modified. So whereas if I give 2, only the second possibilities are getting modified. Okay, so here the root is root only because it's on that line root is the first possibility, but here it is a second possibility. So none of the editors from your Windows and things like that even get into this granular level, logical scenarios. Okay, they lack here. They will do only a Boolean, right? Boolean way means replace, all replace or none replace. This much only they'll do. They'll not be able to tell that, if any second possibility is there, then only you do that. Okay. So this is how you can do that. And also another observation, if you have done that, so all the time we are not modifying the file. So the file always remains, root only it is telling. So it is not really modifying the file. It is just giving the output. If you really want to modify the file, so then you have to give -i, then it actually performs a modification activity. So now grep password. So what is the activity which are supposed to be done? The second possibility of root, search for root has been changed to admin. Now you see this admin. Since it didn't give any output, you gave an -i option. It is actually editing that file. If you want to really edit the file, -i option. Or you want to change all the possibilities, G option. Okay, you want to change a certain possibility, then that number you can provide. So that's about something on the uh, SCD editor. And while you do the SCD editor substitute, so sometimes you get a case insensitive. Let's say it is a capital root or a capital R and over T. So, but you still want to replace, then you need to search the word with case insensitivity, like grep command. How you done that? So with the I option, so here also you can provide the I here. So the moment you provide I here, so then the word, whatever it is going to search, it search in a case insensitive way, and it replace those possibilities also. Okay. So this is how we are having the substitute, search and replace. Whereas there is other cases or other options like, adding or modifying the lines. Okay. So multiple criterias will come into picture. So now add or modify the lines. Now here, if you see this, SCD, SCD, okay, I'm not giving -i option, just the output. And if I give in the first line, okay, insert, first line insert, by slash king. Okay, first line, you can give with or without space, it's okay. So you can give hello world to password file. In the first line, it is going to insert. The first line it is inserting. And the same adding the new line will come with append option also, 1a. So to the first line, it appends. To the first line, it is appending the same thing, whatever you have given here. Now, whatever you want to do a copy paste, you have to paste here on the command line, telling the line number, it will go and paste it. It will go and add that to that particular file. Now there is another option, which is 1c. Okay, so that is the line is going to change. So first line is removed, and in the first line, it actually adds this word. First line change. Right? So this is about adding a new line in 3 ways: inserting in the given line, appending to the given line, or you replace the given line. So 3 criteria you are having. And this criteria can go on even with searching a word also. Okay, for an example, rather than line number 1, you can tell that, okay, I wanted to search for a word root. Wherever you find a root word, you change that line with hello world. So here it changed. Here it changed because in 2 lines it found a root word. It is changing those lines. And wherever you found root word, okay, so like let's say insert a new line which is hello world. So now hello world is added. So root is still there. Root is still there. Hello world is inserted. Okay, so the criteria can be based on the line number, or you search a string, you can do that. Substitute also you can do the same thing. So rather than you can go for substitute like this, you can substitute something. You search for a word operator, and in the operator, wherever you find admin, you replace, sorry, wherever you find root, you replace with admin. So now you can, oh, I modified the file now. Cat password. So now you can see this operator. So it has been modified as admin. But whereas other lines did not modify. So you're telling exclusively you operate only on the lines where you find a word operator. Okay. Or else you can also give saying that, hey, you operate only on the lines wherever you find or where which in this line number, like let's say 2. Okay. 2 substitute. So that means only on the second line, you search for a word root and replace that with admin. You can do that. So the criteria is always 2. You go by line number if you know the line number. If you don't know the line number, you go with a word and you do that. Beyond this, it's just the imagination of us. You will never get any requirements. These are the only 2 possible criteria only will come into picture at any point of time. Okay, you take any scenario, you go back and do the work also, like, so reimagine as well. At any point of time, it has to be you operate if you by knowing the line number or by knowing certain word, you would know, whether to modify that line or add to that line. I mean, addition to that line, so something at certain block only, where to add. That means certain place, where to add, right? Only these 2 criteria only will come into picture. Okay, 100% of the requirements of the file editing can be solved with these 2 criteria only. Beyond that, you don't require anything at all. Now coming to the deletion of the line. So how do you delete it? So then D is option. Now SCD. So wherever you find a word root, let's say, wherever you find a word root and delete those lines, so then those lines will get deleted. The first line is gone. Okay, or else let's say no login is there. So many places it is there. So I will say that no login, wherever you find a no login, you delete those lines. So many lines are gone. Okay, and wherever you like, let's say I don't know the word, by the way, I want to delete the lines. So 10th line, I want to delete. You can do that. 10th line, you can do that. You have many options, by the way. So now let's say I want to do it between 10 to 15, 10 comma 15. Okay, we'll do it from 10 to 15 lines. It applies to the substitute also. It applies to the addition also. Okay, so you remove the lines between bit from 10 to 15. Total 6 lines is gone. Okay, like this, the criterias are there. So you search for a word and delete it. Search for a word and delete it, or the line numbers you delete it, or the range you can delete it. These are all the possibilities that you have it. And one last option, which is also a useful option, is sometimes you will be having a multi options that you need to enable. So for an example, wherever I have SCD -e, okay, additional option I'm using -e. So this option is going to be no login, replace with yes login. Okay, you replace those lines, replace that word -e, and after that you remove some 10 comma 50 lines, you delete it, and the file name is password. So then what is the two operations you are performing with the same SCD command only? So first you are substituting, so no login with s login, and after that that operation is done, it goes with the second operation that 50 to 10 to 50 lines will be deleted. At a time also you can do that. So just for information purpose. You can split it into two commands only. First you do first operation, second you do second operation. You're okay. It's fine. As per your comfort, you can take it up, not a big deal. But you have an option here. So that's the whole point. So just to revise, SCD command is a powerful editor, a very, very powerful editor, but it's a non-interactive editor. You just run the command, that's all. You no need to again go. Interactive means once you typing the command is not interactive, we're talking. Okay. So after typing the command, it is asking you to type something more, that is interaction we're talking. Okay, like VA editor is doing that. Okay. So then SCD command, we have substitute option, search and replace. And after that, you can insert line, add line, change line, and delete the lines. So these are the operations you are getting. All right. So that's all you have in the SCD. Any questions?
Hey Raghu, do you have any real life scenarios wherein you use such queries or commands?
You might. I mean, like end of the day, options remain same only here. So for an example, so there is a file etc. We are logging with a password authentication, let's say, right? And now let's say permission denied is given value. So now you see here, so there is a file here. Now here, there is something called as a root. Okay. So root, that means grep -i root from this file. I'm sorry. So grep root, you can see this, there is a line called as permit root login. It is with prohibit with password only, is a one option you're having. Now that means this server, no one can log into the system as a administrator account. I think we didn't talk about that one, but let's say since you asked as an example. Now, as of now, my requirement is I want to allow root logins also to the system, which will not do it, but just let's take as an example. Now, this is something which is hash. Okay, the hash means it is a comment. Okay, so I wanted to just change this line and allow it as saying like, permit root login as yes, by the way. So then how do I do that? So I had to do some trial and errors, right? So then I'll go and give, SCD. I'll not modify the file. So I'll go and search for an example. What do I do? So I'll give this search for. I know that there is a hash permit root login will be there. Okay. And wherever that I find that line, hash permit root login, change that line as permit root login as yes, just something like that. So then this is the file. So if I do this, now enter, so then your root login will be there. Permit root login, you can see this, it is coming as yes. So correct. Now I'll just also give -i root once again. Now you can see this, the lines, what happened, only this line has been modified and the other lines are still same only. They didn't modify it because I exclusively gave the criteria. So any real-time requirement means you grab the requirement, but options remain same only.
Can you undo the changes?
No.
No. Okay. So like in Vim, you can put WD to save, right? So here it's just it's always saves.
Correct. But you will always save only. Why do you do undos?
Like suppose a mistake probably.
So there is already a better, better thing. I think I hope you learned in your life while you since your childhood. Prevention is better than cure. Okay. So you should avoid mistakes rather than doing the mistakes. Now, again, when you actually go with an automation, okay, so what do we do is, so these changes will come through some script and that script will be somewhere in the Git repository somewhere. And there you can do undo and reapply the old one. You can do that. Doing a server login and doing some mistakes is never the anticipated requirement on the live system. So which you will not do even. So you will go through automation, you will develop automation, you will test your automation. That automation only will take to the live system. So this is the phase of the development that you do. So which essentially the criteria which you're talking is illogical in the real-time world. Make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Anyone? Any other questions? Not able to hear you.
I don't. So
Yeah.
in this command, last command which you used for said,
Mm, mm,
you're using the option C, right? But instead
mm.
of C, you can directly give slash permit root login yes without the option C in that.
No, we had to change that line, right? So the line was like this. The line was like this, okay,
Okay.
before
Okay.
modifying. I need to
Okay.
enable that line. So that means I had to change this line. Or maybe you give an insert also is okay. There's the old line will be still there and new line will come into picture. But for me, I felt like replacing is the better option. So that's where I went with changing the line.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, cool. Then the next one. The next is the curl command. So which is also a very powerful command in your command line. So this is also one of the powerful command. So more or less you end up executing one curl command a day at least. That means essentially if you're not executing means you're not even a DevOps engineer. Okay. So either not a developer or a DevOps engineer we'll consider. Okay. So if you're not executing this command once in a day. So it is nothing but what? It's like a browser. Okay. You hit your application to check whether it is working, not working. Okay. So essentially it's a command line browser. Command line browser, you don't compare with the native interactive browser like this. Okay. All I want is to get the content. I'll get the content. That's it. Very simple. Okay. For an example, I have this content, by the way. I want to get this content. Okay. Now, what do I do is I'll take this actual content. Mm. So simply give curl and give www.google.com for an example to start with. Enter. You're getting the content. So this is the actual google.com website actually. What you are seeing is a graphical version. Converting this into some UI that is done by your browser, but server is offering this content. Google.com website is offering this is the content they're offering. Okay. Now curl, you give this, which is I copied it from here. This one, the URL, and enter. See the same content which is coming here, right? So this is the same content coming here. Correct? So that is how your curl command is actually going to be there. So curl is actually going to be a browsing to get the content only. But you don't just expect like, so in Chrome, I'll do that. That is not the server purpose or the command line purpose. It's all about getting the content. You get the content. And you may feel that, google.com is this content. Google.com is, this is the content you are feeling, but this is never the content. This is the content. So view page source, actual source. This is the content, the same one which is showing in our command line. Just the graphical browser is converting this into a another kind of a UI it is showing you. But the server has provided this is the information. Same information we are getting in from the command line. All right, so which is an equivalent one. But we deal with that source only. We'll not deal with the graphical thing. So that's the only difference. All right, so that's how it is. So sometimes the content is a readable text. Sometimes it may be a random some text that some encoded format. But regardless, it retrieves the raw data from the given URL. It always gets the raw data. And you can also download the files also. Okay, because the browser you can download the files. Curl command not only just doing the browsing. Okay, you can also get the download option also. Even before downloading also, for an example, sample JSON API public. So with the curl command, we generally do this. So it is telling you hit this, you will get this data. Okay. Curl, I do this, and I'm getting the data. Okay. So this is the data you're getting. So this is some functional data. There's some backend application data that is giving and all. So check view. So if I give like this, so even it can give me the color, like, so it is fetching me the list of users, and those users is some key equal to value, something like that. So your data can be like this also. And most of the time, sometimes the data will be like this. Most of the time, the data sometimes will be like this. Where can I show as an example with some of the known applications that we use? what example I can show you. Maybe the project we can show, but this is a very huge content to show. Okay, so here also you can get it. Inspect. I can go to the network. The moment I do a refresh, I will get at least 300 requests. It will make it. Now we need to find it out where, which is the right one to get this. So these are all UI things only, but some, I mean, the list of servers are there, right? So servers can come in some data format. So you can see this some response you got it. So which is this response? So it hit this particular API. Okay. So it is the response which we got it. Hmm. But it is also telling some other status. Get caller settings. Get. I think the overall point is, so the browser is actually hitting and you got some JSON format. So they also got the same kind of a format only. Okay. We call it as a JSON format. And we got it. So some URL will be here to get the list of servers. Okay. I wanted to just show you that also coming there. Maybe graphical, we are feeling that, so all these options, end of the day, what I'm looking for, this particular instance only I'm looking for. Correct. Or even in fact, I can go for, let's say, clear the thing. So here it makes something. So you can see this, it is now giving an XML format. Yeah, but this is the format which you got it. It is actually hitting this. Okay, this is the API, it is the URL it is hitting with some payload. Okay, and the response which it got is, this is the response. And this response has been taken. You can see this instance ID CF. Okay, that actually the graphical version is trying to put it here. Okay, so this is how things are working. So I am interested more in this data. So I don't want all these graphical things and all. I'm more interested on the data. And that's where the curl command solves your problem, essentially. Okay, so that's how the browsing will work. The next is you're having a curl command to download certain things also. So how do you download? You can just give curl -o, the file name, and you give the URL. So for an example, I have something. So I will do like this. If I have a URL, okay, or if I don't know the URL also, I can get some URL. I want to download some file. So which places I can download some file? Maybe like, I usually pick up Apache. So I'll go for Apache HTTPD. You go to the Apache HTTPD, go here. So just click on download. Okay. So you are having these are the download sourceables. So you have something like this. So now get the link address, copy link address, go to the server, curl -o, something like my httpd dot. File name is any your choice, dot tgz, something. Okay. And you enter here. Then what happened? So the file has been downloaded. ls-lh is telling 9.4 MB. So that means the content is downloaded. So I have given my own file name. But however, if you want to store the file name which is offered by the, I mean, most of the time here, if I go and click on this in my local system, it just downloads in the same file name, correct? It already downloaded in the same file name. So see this, it downloaded in that file name. But whereas I can also give my own file name. So save as, save link as, okay. So my httpd dot something like that, and enter. So it's okay. So just click on save, save. So then what happened? You added your own file name. So your browser is allowing you to do both the things. Your curl command is also allowing you to do the same thing. When you use -o, you're choosing your own file name. Now let's say, no, I don't want all this. So let it be the file name. So whatever the default comes in, I can go for that. So then in that case, you simply remove that and enter. Oh, sorry. You have to use capital O. Okay. Then it will simply download the file with the file name which is offered by the URL. The file name which is offered by the URL is this. It downloads this file. For curl command, you have three options: curl and the URL. Sometimes you browse the content, you get the content. So sometimes you need to download it. When you're downloading, two options. So one is your own file name or the default file name. Own file name, small o, and the file name, default file name, capital O. That's all you have it in the curl command. Does it make sense? Any questions? Curl command. Cool. And the next is extraction of the files. So as a DevOps engineer, okay, why we talked about curl command is it's going to be our essential job. So to check whether our application is working, not working. So that is one essential criteria. And the other criteria is you download some software because you need to set up some software. Maybe you're in a test machine, you need to download some software, or even you wanted to deploy certain, application in the system. The curl command is the one that can help you to download something into the system. Okay, it can be your application also, like the application you're dealing with, your project, or it can be a software that came from the internet, just like we have downloaded the HTTP. Like any of the case, right? If you look in either of the case, you're downloading the file, and now you need to downloaded files usually going to be a compressed files. Either it can be a Linux native tar file or a Windows native zip file. These two only will get it. Either it is a tar or zip. Now, if it is a tar, how do you extract it? If it is a zip, how do you extract it? So that is what we are going to see now. So now if it is a tar file, since I already have the tar file, so tar-xf, so X for extract, F for specify the file name, and specifying the file name, give the file name, do ls, getting the folder. So that got extracted. Okay. And whereas if it is a zip file, okay, then what do you do is, now also another thing is the tar-xf usually is enough. Okay, but you usually see that people going and giving more options, like xvjdef, something like that. So those are not needed. Those are absolutely not needed. Okay, so there are different compression methods on tar. So it doesn't matter which compression you have. So tar will take care of understanding that file and extracting. You don't need to exclusively specify those options. It's unnecessary. So simply tar-xf you handle is okay. This xvjed, v means more verbose output, you get it. For example, rm-rf httpd. So now the same thing, xv also you can give. Jet is essentially to tell it's a gunship format. Jet, it's not needed, but I'm giving. So what do you get? You get an output saying that, these are the files which is getting extracted. So I don't have any value out of that. So that's where you can give without. -v and -z option. With or without that, does the same operation. So no need of going there. Okay, so that's about something on the tar command and zip command, by the way. So the zip is if you have a zip file, you just simply unzip that particular file. Okay, so how can I get a zip file? This guy is not giving. There are some products that offer zip file. Apache Tomcat, I can go for download. I think these guys are giving some zip file. Okay, so copy link address. Here, curl -O, save it in the default file name, bring it, and then now ls. Now you can go for unzip and then Apache Tomcat. So you got extracted, and here it is. So what is a simple command? Unzip and give the particular zip file name. It will do the unzip. Right? Clear? Any questions on the extraction part?
So if you want to save the unzip file in some other location,
Copy cp command. Oh, you
okay,
want to unzip in another directory.
yes,
While unzipping, you want to do it in another directory. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So you know how to get the help, right? So unzip -help. So read it out like, so which is a option to go for another directory. Extract files, fresh, you date, not this. And extracts into another directory, -d I'm seeing, right? So then I'll go and give -d, let's say /tmp. So then it has done that. ls of /tmp. You can do that. Tar also have some options, same thing if you want extra.
okay, thank
Yeah. There is also another way. You go into that directory and unzip by giving the full path of the zip file also can do the same thing. There are different ways to do it. Yeah. Okay. And the next topic which we're going to talk about here is a concept of a pipe symbol. Okay. So now we are at a place of, executing the command, single commands, by the way, but we should be going for uh, multiple commands. And those multiple commands also, we already seen that, first command, semicolon, second command, first command, double ampersand, second command. Okay. So whereas double pipe symbol also, right? There's the logical operators we have seen already. Now there is a single pipe symbol also is there. Now what is the single pipe symbol and what it does? So what it does is it will go for sending the output of first command, okay, to the second command. The output, the pipe command connects the output of one command to the another command. The command one is generating some output, and that output you want to send it to the second command, then you do that. So for an example, cat of /etc password grep for root. Now the cat is going to give all the content of that file, pipe output going to. Now the input of grep is taking grep. You're telling grep I want to grep root. So the input to the grep is coming from this pipe symbol. It's essentially a pipe, input output only, right? So first command is an input, second command is now, which essentially means that not every command support pipes. For an example, you take this thing which is ls of, or maybe like something, it's okay. So ls of httpd.tat.gz, this file is there. So you get the output. Now pipe rm, you can give rm-f, you give, okay, do ls. So now what do you see this? The file is still there. Rm did not remove it. So that means like, you essentially need to understand that every command doesn't accept the pipe symbol, okay, or accepts the input from pipe symbol. It depends upon the command. Okay, if the command is written in such a way that to read the output from the pipe, then only it will work. Otherwise, it will not work. So the classical example that we know, or the commands that we learned, is RM command. RM command will help us. Now, what you can do is you can just use exarch command as an input. Rather than sending the output to RM command, you're sending it to exarch. And exarch, you tell that, so this is the command I wanted to run. So now exarch receives the input and it executes the RM command on top of that input. So now that file is gone. Okay. So this is how we had to do it. Now let's say ls password to ls, the password file is gone. If I want to remove a lot of log files which are there, so then ls start.log, maybe pipe exarch rm. You can directly give rm-f, okay, rm-f start.log. It will do that, but sometimes, okay, the idea is like, so it may not be same all the time, but you need to remove. So that's where this exarch. But this exarch, what we're talking about, is only the known command, which is rm. But going forward, here and there, you face this challenge, and you know what to do. That's as simple as the pipe. You'll suddenly see that, okay, this is not working. Then how do you do that? So essentially, like, it comes in the scripting part. Okay, like when you deal with your own scripting and all. So just as an example, echo input is something. You don't bother about what I'm writing. Okay, so last test.sh. So input is empty, and input is like, let's say I'm giving this, you're getting. But whereas rather than this input is coming from here, the input comes from somewhere else. So ls is a command and a pipe bash. So now you can see this ls command output went to the bash, but that inputs is supposed to be going into the test.sh, but it is not taking. So then what is, because our shell script, we have not written something to accept the input and all. I have not done that. So simply example, solution we can take it up is exarch. So now if I do this, so now the input which it got is this input. So just try to understand. So wherever you face a problem that a command is not taking an input from the pipe symbol, exarch comes handy. And usually you'll find this scenario for your own scripts when you start writing it servers. But the concept is the pipe symbol. The pipe is sending the output of first command to as an input to the second command. Okay. That's something about the pipe symbol. And I think it's a bit early, but I wanted to cover only this much for today. So from tomorrow, you will see little administrative related things, start from process management. So just to, revise by the way. So what are the commands that we have learned today, which is a cat command to list the files, and a head command to see the content head and tail, and then grep command to filter, awk command to do that, and vim to edit the file, set to modify the file, and curl command to browse, so tar command to extract, and unzip command to extract, and pipe is a concept. So far, around 18 commands we have seen, with some here and there some options. That's okay, but 18 is a count so far that we learned. Okay, that's all from my side for today. If you have any questions, please go ahead. Otherwise, if we don't have any questions, I can spend some time on the lab session here as well. Yeah, any questions, please go ahead. Or if you don't have anything at all, feel free to drop as well. Thank you.
Is there any exercises we can practice on the commands?
So what all I have done, learning is the same thing.
Only this. Okay.
So this itself is too much actually. So maybe first we Linux, some people knows basics. It may little okayish, by the way, but going forward, you'll learn many things, right? So will not be able to will not be able to spend time because everyone is working. You will be having limited time, so you'll slowly lag it. Okay, so that's why I stick to the line, one line, rather than looking. So that's my perception of looking at it. Whatever I do itself is too much for you to practice. So at least you do first round of iteration, you do that. Later, if you need it, anyhow, we can take it up. Not an issue. Any
Okay.
other any other questions?
Yeah, the only thing was whenever you have a minute, if we can look at that issue.
You go ahead and join in the lab session. So here is a Zoom link, right? The GitHub link.
Okay.
Just join
Okay,
there. I'll
I will do that.
come in a minute after completing this.
All right.
Any other questions? Okay, I think if anyone also have some so connection issues to your AWS server and all, so just please log in the lab session. I'm ending this here, so I'll just go and connect in the lab session now. Okay, bye. Good day. Good.